They say the American dream is bought in the boardroom, but I've always believed different. It's built right here, in the grass, over the fence, and across the cul-de-sac. I'm Stefon, and this is Backyard America. We're stripping away the noise to talk about what actually keeps our community spinning. From the local legends you've never heard of, to the real-life issues hitting our own doorsteps, we're keeping it local, keeping it honest, and keeping it right here in our neighborhood. So go grab a cold drink, pull up a chair, and welcome to the yard. Let's get into it. Welcome to Backyard America, the podcast where I, Stefon Brown, I'm able to interview people who are close to me and pretty much highlight those people who are superheroes, like this person next to me without the cape that they have to, this typical superhero wears. Today I have a good dear friend and neighbor of mine, Denny Eppert, pulling up to the studio for us. And I'd like to just remind you, again, the best thing about this podcast, I think, is the fact that it is just actually Backyard America people. It's people that are in your own backyard. I think everybody, after listening to this, will be able to say, I know a Denny. There's a Denny in my neighborhood. There's somebody that's just like him that he reminds me of. And this is just to kind of highlight, not just that person in your neighborhood, but that person that's in my neighborhood and everybody else's neighborhood out there. So without further ado, Denny, I'd like to introduce you again, my neighbor, good friend, not just a friend of mine, but a friend of the family. When we moved into our neighborhood about 5 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah, 5 years this month for me. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are some of the first neighbors we obviously met up with and connected with, and man, your wife Erica. I mean, what can't be said about Erica, man? Like just an amazing woman, but just somebody that was able to help bridge the gap like immediately.
Yeah.
For my wife and I and the family, just to make us feel comfortable. Like she could tell we were definitely green. Like we were like not ready for Arizona, and she was like, "Oh, let's make sure that they're good," And she brought you along to make sure that we were good. And ever since then, you guys, man, I mean, saved us a ton of money, heartache, and a lot of things. Just being, like a good neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Denny was there. So I guess Denny, tell us just a little bit about you. I guess just kind of who you are, kind of what you're up to, what you do, and then we'll get into that kind of main question that we always like to ask everybody.
Yeah. So I'm Denny Eppert, like you said. Live here next door to you.
Yeah.
In Chandler, Arizona. Married. My wife Erica, we just briefly spoke about. We have 4 kids, very different time frames in life. 2 teenagers driving, and then 2 little ones in early elementary. So have our hands full both ways, managing teenagers and young kids. So I've worked in trades for a long time, painter by profession, working procurement and aerospace now also, main source of income. And still we own a small painting business also that we run. So I do the painting and Erica does everything else for the business. So.
Fun fact, when we first moved in here, we needed some walls painted in our house, and we had some other neighbors that had moved in across the street as well. And I can't remember who told us, but it was told to us that one of our neighbors was a painter. And again, we didn't want to mess this house up. If you look around, even in this room, I remember painting this room. There's a couple of nicks, and it's cool. A painter would notice, right, those nicks, which Denny was actually able to notice those nicks that we had. But you at least knew that it was done by actual people. And yeah, we thought our neighbor across the street was the painter, and lo and behold, Denny, you were the guy for us. So
he's the music guy, and I'm the painter.
Yeah. So, but the nice thing is, obviously, we made sure we circled back around to you. We had to get something painted from you, so he was able to help us out and paint our back fence for us a couple years back.
Yep.
Gosh, man, just to think, man,
so much in the years that we've done. Yeah.
Yeah, like
5 short years.
Some casual conversations and casual things that we've done for each other, but like outside looking in, it's like, yo, you guys are pretty tight.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it's been kind of effortless for you. Well, before we go that route, I want to really dive into more about what makes you TikTok. Like, I've been around you as a neighbor, and I've been able to see so many different versions of you. But I know, again, like most of my friends, most people I know, and most of the parties that we host, it's a ton of introverts.
Yeah.
So with you being more of an introvert, obviously it's not something that the general public would ever know anything about. Now, I see it.
Yeah.
But I guess, tell me, what's that one subject, that one topic that we can get going on and you'd be like, yo, look, don't get me going on this topic. We'll be here all night talking about it. What's that topic for you?
Oh, man. That's a tough one. I could talk about, obviously, my family. I could talk about all day long. Golf is my newest passion that I'm very in love with. Fell in love with golf over the past year. Sobriety is a big one for me. 15 years sober this year, coming up in October.
Okay.
So that's a big one for me. I could always kind of talk about that and kind of tell my story. That's a big one for me, which has made everything else in my life possible.
I've said let's do that. Let's start from I guess what made it all possible, and let's start with the sobriety. Let's go into golfing and how that's obviously helped you, and then obviously the family's everything that's helped you through it, but how that's kind of changed the dynamic of the family now.
Yeah, we can. It's a lot. It's heavy to unpack.
That's what we're here for.
So, I mean, I'm sober from drugs and alcohol for almost 15 years now.
Amazing.
In about 4 months, it'll be 15 years. So, started smoking weed, cigarettes and weed and drinking when I was young, maybe like 10 years old.
Okay.
Just trying to fit in with the wrong crowd in my neighborhood. Parents split when I was young. Okay. Dad worked all the time, so I kind of had free reign to run around. He was a little naive, doesn't really know what's going on. So yeah, just started with smoking weed and drinking when I was young. Mom passed away when I was young also, 4 days before I turned 13, from suicide and substance abuse and something along those lines. So kind of ran in the family a little bit. Then a little while after that, got into harder drugs. When I was about 15, I would say. And then
so from 10 to 15.
Yeah. And then 15 kind of kicked into harder stuff and ended up in jail and prison for a couple years. That was 2011 was the last time I went to prison for 2 years. And then been sober ever since then. So about 10 years of heavy, hard drug use. Which a lot of people are shocked by, I'm sure.
Yeah, dude.
Guys find out kind of my history, was shocked because of where I'm at now in life.
Even you telling me now, still, there's parts of the story I'm just like, did not know, would not have guessed that.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
it speaks volumes.
Was heavy into drugs and a lot of stuff in the streets. And then I got arrested October 25th, 2011, and I've been sober ever since then.
What's made this what was that kind of turning point? What made you feel like, yo, this is rock bottom? I mean, I know that maybe there was multiple times, but what? I say that because again, I think we talked about it, but I have a brother that took a similar path where, him getting back to a new normal. It's a process, and it's something that us as a family where we've known him. Younger, he's not the same, and he's had to get used to we're not the same as well. So, having those talks with him and understanding that there comes a time where there's like, all right, I got to make a change. I guess for you, what were you saying to young Denny back then, and what would you say to the audience or that person that's in a similar situation?
I think a lot of it is about your environment. When I first got out of prison, I was like, oh, I'm going to hang out with these same people, and I can hang out with the girl I was dating before. I can hang out with these friends that I was with before jail. And you really can't. If you play in the mud, you're going to get dirty, right? Okay. So it's I think it's a lot about your environment and what you put yourself into. Because having a history like that, it's so much easier to fall back into it. If it's there in front of you, I'm not thirsty, but there's water, I might drink it. You know what I mean? It's very much so about an environment you put yourself in. And also, using your resources and making that choice every day. It's not oh, I've been sober for a week, I'm good. I can maybe drink a beer or something. I know I can't do that, even though alcohol is not, my main thing.
Yeah.
You have to, eliminate anything that's going to put you a step in the wrong direction. Because I might be oh, yeah, okay, I had a couple beers, that's fine. But the next time I might have 5 years, and then I'm oh, I can go get some cocaine or something. So I think it's a lot of environment.
I know what you mean, how it can steamroll. Because isn't similar to I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to make an analogy, but you say, hey man, I need to take a break from candy, right?
Yeah.
You know how addictive candy can be, or
Yeah.
sugar in general, right? Like take a break from sugar, and then you maybe have one piece of candy because there was an extra piece from the packet,
Yeah.
and then you're just like, let me just get
Yeah,
two
then I'm
next
just gonna have a
time.
bowl of ice cream after that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That cycle effect that can come. So it's like, and I know, obviously throughout the time you've been tempted, well, not been tempted, but people have tried to tempt you, or at least offer alcohol to you.
Me included.
You know what I mean? And for you to know, like, hard no, hard stop, like, no, like, A, I respect the hell out of that, but B, man, just the amount of discipline. I mean, it just goes back to the character that you have to get to where you're at, with it. So, I mean, really, like, how would you, like, go about telling somebody, when they're in a very similar space and headspace where they're like, I want to go back to the old me, or go back to what's comfortable, but this is what's better for me. Like, how do you have that, talk with yourself? Because it really comes down to, you doing. I mean, you can have the right people around you, and they could love you and want the best for you. But obviously, if you don't want the best for yourself, how do you?
Which, yeah, I did for all of that time that I was using. I had all the opportunities and family and love and every opportunity I had to not do that. But it's hard because everyone is so different. Like, everyone's sobriety is going to be different. Like, someone, like, I'm sober but I smoke weed, or I'm sober but I still drink a little bit. So it's kind of hard to, like, cookie cutter it for everyone. You kind of have to see what works for you, because a lot of people will work the 12-step program, which I never really fully worked, and that works for a lot of people, but that might not work for me. So it's all has to be, like, on an own person. They have to want it, is the main thing. You can't help anybody that doesn't want help. Like, I really want them to get sober. That's fine that you want them to, but you can't. So it's hard for me to, like, explain, like, what I would tell someone. It's mostly, you need to, like, I would listen to someone and see, like, what they needed, rather than to tell them what they need, because they might not need what I need. So I can't be like, well, if you do this, this, and this is going to work. They're like, well, that doesn't really work for me. Well, I'm like, well, what do you need? What problems are you having? It's more of a what works for someone. Same with, I think, that's with anything, with people, with how kids learn. Some kids might not learn the same. Some people's sobriety might not be the same. So I feel like everyone's brains and function needs something different, and sobriety and everything else in life, I feel like.
It, like, leads on to the next one, because I was going to say, being on the other side of it, I know you see somebody who's going through it and you're like, man, that person needs help. That person I can help. That person cannot be helped. What advice would you give to those people, those family members on the other side who want to see their loved one get better, and how do you best help them? I know a big thing that you just said is just listen, right? Just don't try to tell them what they should or shouldn't do, but listen. But what other advice would you say makes sense?
I think the best thing for someone who has a family member going through it is to not enable it. That's the biggest thing. You can't make them, like, want to quit or do something, but you can do your part in not making it easier for them to use, or, like, falling into the cycle, because you're almost in their addiction then too. Like, oh, but I know he just needs some money for this time. No, he doesn't. He's going to go get drugs with it, and you know that. Or, oh, well, he needs to do this or pay this bill. No, he doesn't. He's going to use that money for drugs. So I think it's more of a not enabling, and, like, doing what you can to be there without aiding in their addiction. Like, okay, I know I can talk to this person, but I can't do this because it's just going to hurt them more. And it's a hard thing because you just want to help your loved one. So it's hard to do that, but sometimes that might be what you need. Like, someone's parents, like, oh no, you can't come back to my house anymore. Yeah. If you want to call me, that's cool. I love you, but you're not welcome here. And someone might be like, oh fuck, I'm not welcome at my own mom's house now. Yeah. Like, yeah. Oh, what am I doing? So it might be, I feel like, knowing your loved one's addiction and knowing how to not enable them, and you have to give that tough love sometimes, even though it hurts, and you may lose your loved one, but, like, you're not doing anything to help them by enabling their addiction. You're just making it worse. What
are some of the ways that you can enable them without, let's say, it being monetary, without it being money? Like, because let's say most people are like, look, I don't have the money to give you, man, but I want to help you, but how? How are other ways that, because even, like I said, even dealing with, people in my life, not anyone specific, but just understanding it, like, even there was a point in time my dad had a drug addiction as well, and he actually had the addiction while I was living with him. So so Natalie, my wife and I, we were both around my dad, and he was functioning, and it was just like,
Yeah.
But if I like read between the lines, I was like, wait a minute, there's things that he's letting happen that I know he's like a stickler on, and everything's just kosher right now. So it's like, am I an enabler for him? At a certain point. So I think that was like a point for me where I felt like, man, maybe I'm enabling, my dad, because I was an adult. I was making adult money, so he didn't have to worry about bills like that. If there was a crisis, I was savvy enough to figure out the crisis, even though I wasn't handy. He was handyman, so he could fix anything that we needed. I could financially take care of anything that we needed. So I guess, like I said, maybe I was enabling people, or maybe people around are enabling somebody just by being themselves, or just being naturally just hopeful, and not necessarily with money.
Yeah, I think even just by being complacent, like not saying anything, like it, but you're like, well, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to cause a problem. Well, no, that's kind of your responsibility for someone you love. If you see something you don't like, whether it be a friend, a parent, a child, like if I love you, then I'm like, oh yeah, you're fucking up. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, it's cool. He's just like doing his thing. If you love someone, you should be able to tell them like, hey, like what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Like just being complacent and being silent, that I feel like that's enabling. Behaviors like if someone is fucking up and you don't want them at your house, like they shouldn't be at your house, but you're like, oh no, they could be here. And then you're putting like your house in jeopardy, your family in jeopardy. I think there's a lot of ways, just actions and being complacent, that is enabling. It's not necessarily, you can enable behaviors, you can enable addiction. So it's not just a monetary thing. It's like, just like, even just letting it happen and being complacent, not mentioning it, I feel like is enabling. Mm-hmm. Like even if you saw your dad and you're like, well, something's going on, but why don't you say something?
It's on me just as much as it's on him at that point. I know.
Well, it's not on you, but by being like, oh no, it's cool. Like,
I guess if I sit back and I assess like the situation, I'm like, man, what's going on here? And it's like, well, hey, I have some part in this, so I have to, own up to what I'm doing as far as enabling it potentially, and be able to say, okay, like you mentioned, listen to him, understand what he's going through, or whomever it is what they're going through. I guess what would you say is the most misunderstood thing about somebody who may be going through something similar?
There's a choice. Like I don't always think. I know you make the choice to use that one time, but like your brain has these functions and feelings that like chemical imbalance, kind of like, oh no, your brain is actually telling your body, no, you need to do this. Like this is how you're going to function. I think some people think, oh no, it's their choice. That's their choice they're using. Mm-hmm. Which it might have been their choice to pick up for the first time, but it's once it gets to a point, it's like, I have to do this. Like I need this. My body's telling me I need this to survive. So I think that's like, oh, you should just be able to quit. Well, it's not that easy. It's a very psychological thing that your brain tricks your body into like needing.
Is there like any other, let's say, activity or anything that you can maybe relate it to that's like, hey, in order to get to that point where you feel like you need it, you gotta go through that? Like, is there anything, like, I know you do like other tasks and we'll get to it, but like you do like cycling, you do bicycling. So it's like, 3-4 miles in, you're like, there's no going back, and so it's like you're already like in it, and for somebody who's maybe done it for the first time, or first couple of times, that could be like very uncomfortable. Mile 4, 5, 6, and knowing that we got another 15 to 20 to 30 to go. Like, what are we really going to do this? And how do you mentally get yourself in that mode to continue to go on when it comes to just the journey and making it possible to get through from start to finish, and you're like in the middle of it where you're like, man, I'm only 6 months in sobriety, I'm only 3 weeks in, I'm only, when you only got a little bit of money saved up, out of the big goal that you're trying to do. So how do you like mentally talk yourself through the beginning stages of this where it doesn't feel like there's much change happening?
I feel like in the beginning is the most change. I feel like it's harder afterwards, like after you get past the 6 months, that's when a lot of people relapses. They're like, oh no, I'm good, I've done 6 months now, like I can relax now, I can coast.
Wow.
and then something comes up, and then it's like, oh shit, now I'm using again. I relapse, and I've already had 6 months sober. I feel like it's obviously like when you first quit, it's going to be hard because you're like used to using, but then I feel like after that, if you get complacent, that's when it gets dangerous. A lot of people relapse like later in life, like years or months and months after being clean, because you get complacent. It's not something that you just, oh, I'm sober now, I'm good. It's like something that you have to be mindful of every day, like forever. Like I know I'm never going to be able to drink, even though that's not my issue, like wasn't alcohol. I did drink a lot at one point in life, but I know that's not like my main drug of choice. But I know I can never do that again because that's not something that I can handle. So I think it's more of not the beginning stage, but knowing that like, okay, this is forever. I have to work this forever.
Nice. That makes sense because it keeps you like disciplined. I like try to like relate that to all the things that I'm going through because I know I can't, obviously relate specifically to what you're going through.
Yeah.
I try to, take a task that I got and I try to like say, okay, there's going to be that beginning stage where I hate it. There's going to be that kind of middle stage where I'm wondering like, what the heck am I doing? Is there any change? I don't really feel the change, and then there's going to be that kind of like 3/4 stage where like other people are starting to see the change kind of slowly where I'm like, oh, wow, other people are seeing the change. I didn't know there was that much change. I got some motivation to keep going. I've gone this far and I got a little motivation. And then to see that real change to kind of, gradually happen and it gives you your own self-motivation from there. That's something I see that you've done with a plethora of things, golf included, and what, you just picked up golf, what?
A year ago now, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Erica got me lessons a year ago for Father's Day.
That's right, for Father's Day.
That's when I really started playing.
Yeah. What got you, I guess, into golf? I mean, and it kind of tells all of our story. I mean, I've been into golf a little bit, not as much, but I would definitely say I've gotten into golf a lot more since I've been here because I have some golfing buddies to go with, But yeah, tell us the golfing story and how that kind of.
So I got clubs actually probably like 5 or 6 years ago from my uncle, but I played maybe like 3 times in that time frame. Like I would go like once a year maybe, and then Keith, our other neighbor, was super into golf. Yeah. And Erica blames him all the time. Yeah.
You guys will be able to meet Keith. Keith will be getting interviewed here as well, one of our other neighbors. It'll all make sense, I guess, when all three of all of them all blend together. But yeah, Keith.
So I started golfing with Keith, and I just fell in love with it. You hit a couple good shots, and then you get lessons, and you start getting better, and you're never really good at golf, I feel like. I know there's some people that are good, but you can always get better. So I think the challenge of it is what like makes me so into it. I'm not a good golfer, but I love that I cannot figure it out yet. I think if I like figured it out right away, I would have just dropped it eventually because I have a tendency to like hyper focus on things and then I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. But the fact that it is so hard to figure out and it's like, it's always changing. It's never the same. Like Continental, we go play sometimes at golf course. Yep. I've played there probably 50 times and I probably never hit the same shot twice there. So it's always like different. It's always a challenge. And just when you're like figuring something out, you're like, oh, now I messed up something else when I was figuring that out. So the challenge of golf is what like makes me love it so much. It's, you always have to like try to practice to improve. Like it's always like something that you're trying to fix, to get better, to do something better. Even the pros, you always hear them like, oh, I've felt something, I need to change a little bit, or I have a new feeling, I got to work on this. So the fact that even like the best in the world are always like trying to figure out, it's just so intriguing to me. And there's the equipment, I love like, I love to research. So I always like looking up equipment, golf balls, golf courses. Like I love to like tinker and know stuff and I love to research and just know like things and learn. So yeah.
See, this is the side of Denny that you would organically pick up if you're your neighbor or if you're close to you, but like you wouldn't know. And I think one thing that stuck out to me was you said you tend to hyper focus on certain things.
My addictive personality.
Yeah, but but in a way though, I loved it because I remember just first being by you guys and just the vibe I got from you, how I am naturally. I remember gifting you a pair of shoes And not to say that you weren't in the shoes, but after that, just the whole outlook that you had on shoes, just the curiosity that you had, was just what tickles me, Pink, because it's like, man, that's what it's all about. It's just that curiosity, and the fact that you had the curiosity, but you were able to like create your own wave, your own vibe, your own like lane with it. You were able to stay true to you and what you like. And I mean, gotta let everybody know, like, his favorite Jordan.
I have the twos. I love twos.
And that speaks volumes, because again, in the sneaker culture, right? Twos aren't the most cool. So what is it about the twos that you kind of always?
I really like the two lows. The off-white two lows are my favorite shoe. Yeah. I just like the whole silhouette of them. I think they're more comfortable. Mm-hmm. I'm a big comfort guy. Like, I'm not like, oh, that looks really cool, but if it doesn't feel good on my feet, I'm like, nah, I don't want to wear it.
Right.
So that's what I was gonna say. Like, I'm very different. I'm not like, oh, I want to get the Travis's. Like, I might try to get into a raffle and I would sell them and buy shoes that I like. Mm-hmm. So I'm really into like just what I like and what's comfortable. And you saw me dive, like, I was like shoe research like crazy for like, that was one of the things I hyper focused on.
I love it. I mean,
and I still look at shoes all the time. I'm not a big shoe buyer. Like, I find a pair of shoes is comfortable and that's what I'll wear. But like, I love Air Maxes. Air Maxes I love how they feel. I love the look of them. I love the Jordan 2s. So I'm more of a like, what catches my eye. I'm a plain guy. I like just a plain shoe that's comfortable. Mm-hmm. But I love like the shoes and the art, even if it's not something I would wear. It's something that I like to look at and research and like know about.
So that all is a great point, because everything that you said would qualify you as a sneakerhead with the research and everything. Like a definition of a sneakerhead. And I think most people's perception of the sneakerhead has to be somebody who buys and collects every single shoe. And it's not. No different than, a golfer has to golf every weekend. Yeah. No, they don't. You know what I mean? So the fact that you were able to, like I said, find your own lane and do it for the reason that you wanted to, that's what makes you, I think, a sneakerhead. Outside of somebody who's like, hey, I'm just going into it to resell, or just doing it because I want to look a certain way in front of other people. Like, that's not as true as sneakerhead. It's like, you're just...
You want what's cool, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, the Travis's are cool. I want the Travis's. Oh, those aren't cool. I want the off-whites now, or whatever it is. Next,
Yeah. So I think it's amazing that you have your own style with it, and I again love it. Would you ever wear your off-whites on the golf course? I guess if you ever got the twos or any other Jordan.
If there was an off-white two that was a golf shoe, I would wear it.
You can like convert these to like golf shoes.
I don't think I would convert it because I love that shoe so much.
Would you wear it, or would you just...
Oh, I would wear the shit out of it. Okay. I would wear them till the soles were gone. Okay. Why have a shoe if you're not going to wear it, is my opinion.
Yeah.
I know, like, some shoes are for a special occasion, but that would be like, the black ones are perfect, like the black off-white low twos are like the perfect shoe to wear every day. You can wear it with anything, a little bit of blue, a little bit of yellow on it, but it's like, it will go with anything. Even the whites, because they're a little bit of like a creamy white kind of, you can wear it, with anything,
Has like a kind of a worn look to, distilled look to it, to kind of let you just put them on and be like, is this your first time or your 15th time wearing them? And you can just be cool with it. Then for golf, how specific, because again, you said you get hyper-focused. How hyper-focused are you with golf, and let's say the clubs that you go with versus maybe the tire versus this bag versus even course?
So I didn't get golf shoes forever. Okay. I just got golf shoes, and they made a big difference. Keith was on me to get golf shoes, and I was like, but finally I got some.
Okay. What do you say is the biggest difference with having the golf shoes? Like the
traction, traction when you swing, especially if the course is wet. Like, you have a tendency to kind of slip when you swing a little bit, and it just helps you kind of complete your swing. I cannot golf in pants. I hate wearing pants.
Are you saying that, man?
I don't care if it's cold.
Are you saying that?
To the golf course. I might wear like a quarter zip or something on top, but I'm always going to wear shorts. And then clubs, I like to have all the same brand. And Eric was like, you have to get all the same brand too, so they match. Okay. So I play almost all Mizunos. I have like 2 or 3 clubs left to swap out. I think 2 left now. So my clubs almost all match. And then that's the only thing I'm really specific about. Like, I play a lot of different golf balls, still trying to figure it out. It doesn't, I feel like at my level, you can't tell the difference that much of a golf ball. If I hit a top flight or like a Pro V1, I'm not going to be able to tell the difference because I'm not hitting the ball like pure every time. So that doesn't make, I just have to golf in shorts, and then I like how the Mizunos feel. So that's what I've been playing. So yeah, that's kind of.
What's the club of choice then for you?
That you're like, look, I got
my favorite
three. I got it.
My favorite club, if I can hit my pitching wedge all the time, I love my pitching wedge.
You've been wedging it up.
That's because I can't hit any other clubs out there without going over the wall. So I've just been chipping out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, my pitching wedge has always been my favorite club since I started playing. So.
So then, all this golfing in the past year, man, you've picked up on a lot of different things in the last 5 years. I mean, obviously, us getting you into shoes, me getting you into shoes, and having you like look at that industry, and obviously all the different avenues you can go with that. You looking at golf and all the different avenues with that. Do you remember your best golf game? Like your best day for golf? I mean, it's only been a year, but do you have like that day where you're like, yo, this?
Yes, I played at Continental and I shot like 6 over. I had played the best golf of my life. I hit a shot to like 2 feet, tap in birdie, and then I followed that up by the worst round that I ever played at Palo Verde. And I still have yet to go back to that course. I keep telling Keith I'm going to go back and get redemption, but I don't even know what I shot. It was terrible. 9 holes, I shot so many over. It was unbelievable. But yeah, I followed my best golf game by my worst golf game. So
I've noticed even over the last couple of months, you picked up a lot more golf-like days for yourself. Not even like with us as a group. Like you'll go out there, you'll go yourself and do that.
Yeah, I was playing some tournaments. Joined Dobson Ranch Men's Club, so I played a few tournaments, and I played terrible.
I know you're playing in tournaments already, but okay.
It was cool. It's a fun experience. Plus, you kind of get random pairs. So I paired with people that are like +2 handicaps or 0 handicaps, and I'm not that. So it's cool to play up with some people that I feel like you play with better people, you get better. Even though it can be a little intimidating, it's cool to see how someone like that manages a golf course compared to us who are casual golfers.
Right. That makes sense. So then all this time that you're spending on the golf course, not all this time, but you're being pulled every different direction. I want to quickly dip into the other facets of your life. One is obviously you do painting. And again, I'm not gonna brush past that. No pun intended. But you did an amazing job in our backyard, and I've seen you do an amazing job with just other projects. Even at the basketball at the facility, you painted some walls there and did some work, quite a bit of work there. So you get bidded for some pretty decent jobs, pretty big jobs.
Yeah.
And some local ones, it seems like. Tell us a little bit about painting and how you kind of got into that, and just kind of the avenues with the business with you and Erica and how that works.
Yeah, so when I got out of prison, I started working for a company that flipped houses. And I kind of just learning trades then. So I did some painting then, more like drywall, baseboards installed, and then they also own apartment complexes, so I went and did maintenance for those. So repainting apartments and stuff like that, I kind of started to learn to paint. And then I went and worked for a local paint company here in Mesa. In 2015, I believe I started there.
Okay. And
I worked there for 5 years, and I came back after we moved to Washington and worked there for a couple more years. And that's where I really learned to paint. I think we're on 3 or 4 years of our own business now. It kind of goes in waves. We were a little slow last year. This year, I've been pretty slammed already. Have some big jobs coming up. So yeah, and that's all weekend stuff. So extra stuff in painting. A lot of exterior stuff is what I like to do. It's easier. I know it's hot here in the summertime, but easier to paint when it's hot. So I like to do that, or real fine finish, cabinets I like to do, because it's so cool to see a high gloss, nice finished stuff that has to be perfect because you can see every little detail of it. So yeah, really. And then how I started at my current job was painting airplane parts. So that kind of transitioned me into my career now was painting. So So yeah, and then painted when we lived in Washington for a little bit. I painted up there too, which was a lot of like industrial and commercial stuff, which I didn't do a lot of here. So I learned that. Yeah, just something I picked up, and now it's a good extra trade to have. So
Speaking of trades, like you're just a tradesman, like just in general, like you're pretty handy.
removing wasp nests in the neighborhood.
Yeah. There's more wasp nests. It seems like
Yeah.
but you've helped with a number of things. I guess just give us just like a brief overview of just some of the things that you just kind of can just pick up a wrench and do. Not necessarily a specific wrench, but just things you can just kind of I can do that.
I do like done sprinkler repairs for the neighborhood. We had neighbor across the street, their backyard was flooding out through the wall. I fixed that. I do like drywall, stucco, electrical stuff, minor plumbing. So I've kind of just been taught on the fly all this stuff.
Over here.
So yeah, I know enough to get myself in trouble of a lot of like things. Mechanical stuff I'm not good at, like cars and stuff I can't do, but all like house stuff, yeah, can do a lot of it. I've done like concrete work, metal stud framing for like commercial projects, drywall, stuff like that. So I know of a lot of different trades that I know a little bit of.
I'm trying to think of what you've done for us at our house. I mean, you painted our wall. You're awesome at Kendrick's. I'm trying to think, like, you know what I mean? Like you got the bees out. There's so many things, and what's even nicer is there's so many things that I know I don't know that you maybe have done with that you've done with Natalie. And Natalie's asked her, Erica said, "Hey, can you help Natalie out?" And it's happened, and I've been able just to come home to this like peace where I'm like, oh, there was chaos here right out here. But again, it goes back to the friendship relationship that we have, where I know I would do the same if there was a way to like give you peace of mind, without you having to worry about it, because you're doing everything else you would do. So I guess to kind of spin back around to like that third kind of pillar that you have with the family. I love the story of you and Eric and how you guys met, you and your wife and how you guys met. Or not necessarily how you met, but just again where it started.
Well, it started when we met, yeah. So we actually met maybe a mile from here at elementary school when I was 6 and she was 5, I believe, is when we first met.
The Phoenicians, and this is crazy because there's only a handful of Phoenicians. In Arizona, like
there's not many of us. Yeah.
You guys are from Chandler natives, so I mean it's.
I'm from Mesa. She's from Chandler. We always fight, which is better.
Okay.
I was on the other side of the canal. She was on this side of the canal. We both ended up at the same elementary school. So yeah, we were friends ever since then. We had mutual friends and knew each other ever since we were little kids. We went to different junior highs. We actually both had to get boundary exceptions because we went to opposite sides. So I came to school in Chandler and she went over to Mesa to go to school for junior high.
Okay.
And then we've ended up back at high school together. That's when we first dated for a little bit, when I was a junior and she was a sophomore.
So wait, because this kind of ties into a different part in your life, where you were trying to figure yourself out. So I mean, here you are going through what you're going through, and then Erica sees something in you that nobody else sees. I mean,
yeah, I was already, so when we were dating, I was kind of already into drugs. I was 16 years old. So that was actually when I went off. I dropped out of school around that time. Ended up in rehab, which didn't work, obviously. That time didn't stick. So we dated for a little bit, and then we kind of both went our separate ways at that point and kind of lived our lives. I was on a very different path than she was. She was graduating high school, going to college, and then ended up having Lily and Isaac, our 2 older kids. And then we kind of, after I got...
How did you connect? Yeah, how did you connect? Like, how did
we
that,
always talked. So
okay, that's crazy.
Even when I was on my path, doing drugs out in the streets or whatever, we still always kind of kept in touch. So we were always friends. We always kept in touch. I would get sober for a little bit, get out of jail, we talk a little bit. She wrote me a couple times while I was in prison.
Well, I hear,
and I did not write back very much.
But I hear that that's a pretty big deal to have anybody write to you. You know, even my brother was like, "Yeah, it's a huge deal."
But she would write these big long letters, and then I write. I'm not, I don't usually talk a lot, so I'd be like a couple sentences.
You're right to the point.
Yeah. So she wrote me a couple times, but she also had 2 young kids at that point. Yeah, they were already. That was 2011, 2012. I got out in 2013. Yeah. So she already had Lily and Isaac at that point. In 2009, 2010, yeah. So very different aspects in life. She's raising 2 young kids and I'm in prison. So, and then when I got out, we kind of just kept talking as friends, chatting. We actually planned to hang out. She ditched me. I always like to tell this story.
I love the good answer.
She had a valid reason, but she didn't say anything to me, just ditched me. So I always like talk crap to her about that. Yeah.
Because Erica's pretty. She's a sharp cookie. So she's always got a valid reason for what she's doing. So when you can find a reason to like poke fun at her, you know what I mean? It gets her, and I think that's awesome that you got something.
So then we actually ended up hanging out and started dating shortly after that in 2014. So I had been out about a year. Yeah, I got out September 2013. We started dating in October 2014, or not October. She's gonna fight me. September 21st, 2014.
Okay. Shut up.
And then, and then I moved in with her not too long after that, and we've been together ever since then. Ended up adopting our 2 older kids. After we got married in 2015. Adopted the kids 2016, and then we have 2 other kids together, Maverick and Beckham, which we tried for a long time through fertility treatments and ended up having 2 more boys, 2018 and 2020. A COVID baby. Yep, so that was an interesting time. Yeah.
Yeah, we all started having babies. Well, we all were having babies, or at least trailing the end of some of our kids. So a lot of our kids are similar ages. So it's really cool to see. Yeah. Especially for you guys, the Epper family, where you guys have the best of both worlds, where you got, again, kids that are driving now, right? They're good babysitters and all that, and going through those changes that kids go through in 2026, but also, young kids that are the same as our kids that we can all hang out and play. So it's like you guys, I don't know, it's a great dynamic.
So Beckham was a baby when we moved in.
Yeah.
And Avery, your daughter, was really young. Yep. And I think Isla
wasn't born.
Yeah.
She just brewed, but then that's when the other kids came and kind of snowballed, and I mean just seeing our kids even play tonight, and just, like your guys' name being a household name to, kids' nighttime stories of what happened today. Like, oh, what happened? Oh, well, I was playing with Beckham and we did this. Me and Maverick, we're gonna go do that tomorrow. And even my son, just obviously looking at them as big brothers right there is pretty cool as well. I think one thing that people don't know, obviously just off looking on camera, is how great a relationship that you have with not just, Maverick and Beckham, your 2 youngest kids, but just a strong, and if not stronger, relationship that you have with Isaac and Lily. I guess take us through that, because obviously it's not, let's say, your traditional, I guess, relationship, when it comes to that, but I would say it's a lot more traditional in today's world, you know. But nonetheless, it's not easy. That's not an easy task. It's not something that you can just step in and, not look anything like that. I guess talk to us how you were able to gain that trust from everybody, obviously Erica included, but everybody in the household, to know that, hey, look, I'm here. I got you guys. Like, I don't see anything different. You guys are mine. Like, take us through that, because I think that's amazing.
So Isaac, the first time he ever met me, told me he loved me. So he was like, he was sold on it right away.
Nice.
And I was like, I didn't know what to say. And he was like, told her afterwards, like, I told him I loved him. And he didn't say anything back to me. Like, Lily was like, I'm not saying anything the whole time we were at dinner. So it was kind of, I've always loved kids. You know how I am with your kids.
Amazing, man. You're amazing with them.
I have a good relationship with kids.
We call Denny the baby whisperer, and we don't say that lightly because there's something about the little ones that they can. I don't know. It's like you're speaking kids to them, and this is coming from somebody who's really good with kids myself, you know. Yeah. But you just have a way with them.
So I think it was kind of easy for us to build a relationship too there, and I think not having their bio dad like around was helpful because it wasn't like any contention or anything. And then Erica obviously had a wallet for kids to protect them, obviously. She'll always say she remembers this one time where I was like, the kids needed pajamas. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go get them pajamas. And that's what I did. So she was like, you kept your word to my kids. Like, that's when I knew like, okay, this is good. Like, so she knew early on, like, okay, he's got my kids. Like, he's good. Like, so I think it was a pretty smooth and easy transition. Like, we blended really well to begin with. So I don't feel like it was much like barriers. It was pretty quick for us to kind of all bond and work that relationship out. So yeah, I think it was a little bit, it was apprehension at first, just like, okay, I already had one male figure wasn't going to be there for them. So obviously you're going to have your wall up, but I think we were able to break that down pretty quickly and kind of.
I love that.
And she is very protective of those kids. So she's not going to let anyone around the kids or in the family that she thinks is going to not be good for them. I kind of skated over her in my whole sobriety thing, but she's such a big like supporter and so mindful of my sobriety. Like, she knows like, oh yeah, he can't drink, or like he shouldn't really be in this situation. And she's like, hey, are you good? Just like mentally, like, are you good? Like, she knows to check on me. Last year we had the party, like she's always like celebrating me and my sobriety, and she's such a big part of that. Like, it's not because of her, like, 'cause I have to make that choice every day, but she's such a big supporter and influence, like, on everything in my life, anything that I want to do. The painting, she does everything for the business. She set everything up. Like, my sobriety, she's always like making sure that I'm in a good position. I'm not going to put myself in something that, like, when we went out the other night, she's like, you're going to be good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, she knows, like, just to check, even though she knows, like, I'm been a long time sober now, she just check in, not anything like, oh, I think he's going to use. Just, it's good just to always have that I know there's someone there that's worried about it as well, that's going to be supporting it and checking on me. So didn't want to skate over that too much because he's such a big part of it.
And you're like setting it up. It's almost like it's a setup for me to be like, all right, Erica, we're gonna interview you next. You know what I mean? Because I mean, everything that you're saying, you know, and that's why I love this, because everything that you're saying comes full circle when, you know, we actually tonight, I know we had talked about it, but like it comes full circle when we say, hey, Erica, you know, can you be the godmother of or one of our daughters that's coming up? And obviously she was like, heck yeah, you know. But I think everything that you mentioned was exactly why we felt comfortable, why we had the conversations, and we're like, you know, who's that person? And when we think about it, you know, how she protects our kids and how she protects my wife, you know, as if like it's her own, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just how she's always checking up and just, you know, just genuinely just trying to see, hey, are you guys good? You know, one of my favorite quotes is, you know, you one person checks the cup to see how much is in there, you know, and the other person checks the cup to see if they have enough. And Erica's definitely somebody just to see if we have enough, where there's other people, you know, that you know could look like her, you know, and be and act like her, but be so busy just trying to compare yourself to them versus actually trying to like, hey, how can I help you? I'm looking because I see that you're missing something. And
she's the most selfless person like ever. Like she always like she always wants to make sure her people are good. Like if you're one of her people, then no matter what, she's going to make sure that you're good. And it's crazy. Like, you know, Avery is so like apprehensive with people, and to see their bond that's grown over like the past month, like she comes over like, let me see Erica. I'm not worried about where the kids are at. I'm gonna go sit with Erica. Like, yeah. So it's.
So you don't hear the conversation prior to her getting over to the house. It's like we pull up into the neighborhood and if she sees that they're outside, she's like, she doesn't say anything, right?
Yeah.
As soon as the door opens, she's gonna, all right, hey, we gotta get inside. Let's eat something. Yeah, I'm gonna go see Erica. Let me just go see Erica. Let me just say hi to her first, at least. Let me just go say hi to her.
Yeah.
And again, our night conversations, will sometimes bring up Erica and just the interaction they had, oh, Erica showed me this, and we did this, and we went over there, but so just like her talking through, and Avery's not somebody that just wants to be just around anybody, she's very kind of close, but I think a big part that's helped is her seeing Natalie, really get closer to her, let her know that she wants to do that too.
She's like, oh, this is my mom's friend. Like, this isn't just a neighbor. Like, this is my mom's friend.
Yeah. So I love that bond that they have. I guess starting from where you were at, kind of going through your trials and tribulations, building everything that you have, understanding about yourself, like that you're a passionate person and that you can get hyper focused in on certain things. Whatever you really try to hyper focus on, let's say the last, 5 years, obviously with, kind of finishing up with, having kids, but just kind of like this chapter of your life where, obviously we all move into this neighborhood, it's COVID, everything, what's kind of the hyper focus on a 10,000 foot view, the macro focus for you as a dad, as
I think we're just like right now we're focused on like building our life and enjoying people that we love. We've had loss in the family recently that kind of like really changed our perspective. Like, hey, we need to be like with our people. It's not necessarily family. It's like our chosen family too. Like, we want to be with you guys. We want to experience stuff. We just want to live in life and like make the most memories and make the most out of our lives right now. That's like our biggest focus. Mm-hmm. We've been trying to go out. We all go out to dinner. We all go out to basketball games. Yeah. We're all going out of town here in a couple weeks. Yeah. So I think that's our mine and Erica's hyper focus right now is like enjoying our lives with the people that we want in our lives.
Yeah. So like we've tackled, I think, those main 3 pillars. You obviously sobriety. We can say golf, but I think golf is just kind of much more recent for you. But knowing that golf is definitely something that I know because you know pro golfers' names and things like that already. Like you're way, I think you're almost like passing Keith with this right now as far as info on it. But I mean, it was very similar to what shoes. Like you were starting to tell me things. I'm like, yo, Danny, I didn't know that about shoes, man. I got to keep up with you now. To kind of cap everything off. I'm trying to figure out how to ask you again. What's kind of a memo that you would, let's say, give yourself at age 16, or maybe when you felt like it was one of your darkest times, and you could, give yourself just the best message of, hey, look, I'm you in the future. You're gonna be fine. How would you kind of like say that to yourself, or even somebody that might be going through something similar to you?
That's hard because I don't know if I would. As much like bad stuff as I went through, I think that's all what made me here today. Like, that's built me to the person that I am. So it'd be hard for me to tell myself to change anything. But what I wish I would have done is dealt with allowed myself to feel and deal with stuff that I went through in life. Like my mom passing at such a young age that I wasn't able to process it, and still it fucks me up today. I would just tell myself to deal with things and allow yourself to feel and process, because it was oh, you're a guy, you don't need to feel this. And my family never talked about feelings and emotions, so I was after my mom died, I'm ready to go back to school the next day, because I'm just okay, it's done, it's over with. I wish I would have processed a lot of bad stuff that happened before I got older, so I could made me more prepared to be a good father and a good husband. Not that I can't be, that I'm not that, just I think not dealing with stuff that I still had to process from being a child, I think would have helped me be better sooner in life.
That makes complete sense. With my, I think I said, going back to with my friend passing away, basketball player that, you know, played with and you know, coach, dad, was just about to, I think this weekend was going to be his bachelor party with the guys, and they were going to be getting married, I think, a couple weeks after. And knowing that he's leaving back, you know, leaving behind the family. For me, I still don't know how to grieve. I spoke to our mutual friend, and he was in my wedding, so I know he was at the funeral and at the wake, and you know, I was just asking him about it today, and him processing and just trying to be there for him to process it. But me letting them know that, hey, listen, I'm just gonna let you know, I'm in the moment, but I don't know how to. I'm not completely sure how to process it, but I understand that I have to process this part of life right here, because it is something that if you, like you mentioned, if you skate over it, you know, how do you actually deal with it when it happens in the future? So I love that. That's a great explanation. Last question I want to ask you is, what was your first impression of me?
Huh. I don't.
Gotta be honest too. Like I know if it's more like out there.
Because I'm really like reserved, like of people that everyone you could see, like when we go out, I'm like, okay, I'm just like, I might meet someone and say hello, but I don't know what my, like, I locked you. We talked like right off the bat because you obviously hold a conversation. I feel like I'm not much like a first impression. I like have to like learn about somebody, because I feel like it's not always like, I don't know anything by meeting you for 2 seconds. Like, I don't know who you are as a person. So I think it's hard for me to like build like a first impression of someone, unless someone's like a total asshole. Like, if someone does something, it's like
makes it obvious.
That out of character. It takes me a while to like understand someone. So I don't like get too much of like, unless it's like something crazy happens, I don't have like a big first impression, because I want to understand someone before I make a judgment on someone.
That's a really good answer. I guess I would segue it to then, what kind of impression have you built for me, I guess, over the time now that you've known me, and we've had, there's no ups and downs, but we've been around each other, you know, this amount of time.
You're so opposite of me in so many ways, but we're so similar, like in a family way.
Yeah.
Like, we're both like all about our family and whatever it takes for our family. But we're so different. Like, you're so outgoing. Like, we were just talking about the story of when you pretended to work at the restaurant we were at, and I was like mortified. Like, I would never do this. Like, maybe when I was young and drinking, but like, we're so opposite personality wise, but we could sit and talk about anything. Like, we talk about shoes, we'll talk about kids, we'll talk about golf, we'll talk about the neighborhood.
Life, like.
But our personalities are so different. I'm so reserved and you're so like outgoing. Like, when we went out for your birthday, you were talking to everyone, and I'm like chilling at the table, like just seeing what's going on, and kind of like then trying to get you and Eli out of the bar for 30 minutes.
I was always mindful of the bar too, but yes.
So we're similar in a lot of ways in life, but then we're personality-wise, we're so different, but we're still close. Like, it doesn't, I feel like people don't have to be similar to be close, because I'm not very similar to anyone. Just because I'm so protective of life, just because of what I've been through, and I know like what can happen in life. But I've built such a relationship with you and other people in the neighborhood that we're close, even if our personalities are so like different.
Yeah, that, man, again, couldn't have said that better myself. How much of the opposite that you see in us do you see with my wife and I, as far as like opposite in personalities?
I was just talking to Eric. I'm like, Natalie is so quiet. Like, even if she wasn't like trying to whisper, be quiet about something, it's so hard to hear anyways. You guys are, but she's like, I feel like she's like Erica. She's such like a kind, like caring. She just gives off the vibe like she like loves like her circle. It's like, she might not let everyone in, but her circle that she does have, she's like, that's my people right there.
Yeah, that's very true.
And you will talk to anyone. I always joke, because the garbage man came to one of your parties, and
he'll be here tomorrow at the baby shower. Our garbage man will be here.
I'll make friends with anybody.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And I guess what has been I guess you can understand that yes, I'm a very social person, but this was not always me, and it was definitely kind of a breakout that I had to have where I was a very, very, very much reserved person, and still to an extent am. I'm reserved with certain things, like I said, when it comes to my family. If you even see my house, I don't have very many family pictures up. I'm very much like live in the moment. I'm a very live in the moment kind of guy. So I'll say kind of what's on my mind sometimes. It may not be the right moment to say it, but it's like, hey, it's the moment. I wanted to like be in the moment and say it and get it off my chest. But I love that we've been able to cultivate a friendship and it just be so organic. And let's be, again, on paper, complete opposites, but getting to know each other, we're the same person, And I think to kind of bring everything full circle with this whole podcast, I think that sums up Backyard America, is on paper, if we just see like a visual, of you, if you're supposed to be a Trump supporter and I'm supposed to be a Democrat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not that we've ever talked about politics or anything like that, but it's one of those things where why would we ever talk about that when the main thing is the main thing, which is, our family, us having good health, us, having a good, drive with our driving range, us getting the pair of shoes that we really want, our kids overcoming, objection, overcoming triumph like we have. I guess, not to be dark or anything like that, but let's just say it was tomorrow for you. What's kind of that legacy that you want to leave behind, with you and the family and this who and what you stood on and what you stand for.
I've never really thought about that. I just want just to know that I was like good to Erica and the kids. Like that's my main. Like as long as they were like, oh, he was a good husband and a good father, like I don't get teary-eyed because that's like my main thing. Like as long as they know that, like when I die, that's like what's important to me.
Mission accomplished. But I mean, hey, you still got, a lot to go to prove to them, obviously. Well, not that you need to prove to them, but I mean.
Well, you should every day.
Yeah, man. That's. You took a turn there just to know that you are there for them and that they know. And I know they know, but, the fact that you get to prove to them every day, again and again through your actions.
But your kids don't always know. Like, so, especially the younger kids. Like, say, I might have to be gone working all the weekends. They're like, oh, man, Dad's not home. But I'm not doing it because I want to be gone, like, away from the kids. So I just always want them to know that, like, I'm doing this for you. And I just want you to know, like, that I loved you and that I was being the best dad I could. And that's what's important to me, just to know that, like, oh, yeah, my dad was a good dad. Like, and Erica, like, he was a good husband. Like, that's what I want them to know. Like, if something were to happen to me, that they truly felt that way.
Then who of the kids do you think is most like you?
I feel like me and Maverick are so similar. And then me and, I don't know. Maverick like wants to do everything that I do. So like I don't know. I feel like Maverick's pretty much, very much like me. Okay. Beckham's a little rowdy like me. Mm-hmm. And I'm a super emotional person. I know it doesn't seem like all the time. Because I'm like...
We never know that.
I'm always like chill, but... And then... So like, I'm super emotional. Lily's super emotional. I feel like all of them kind of have like some part of me. Yeah. Even though Lily and Isaac obviously aren't like mine, but we're similar in ways. Yeah. Off on them. Yeah. Been around for a long time. But yeah, I feel Maverick's a lot like me.
Money Mav. Okay. I can see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. I mean, he's definitely. I've been fortunate to obviously work with him with basketball and just to see how he went from just kind of this like nervousness to now that I got this, you know, as one of those things. I think, like you said, like he hyper focused in on something, and I think he was like, "Yo, I'm good at this. I'm gonna keep going at it," and he's gonna continue to get better because now we see him outside playing, and he's understanding the rules. He's wanting to have everybody else follow the rules. So, that's you got something good going.
They're yelling travel, even though he doesn't dribble.
Yeah, man. Well, Denny, I want to obviously thank you like I said, you pretty much kind of set it up for Erica. I think people are going to be like, yo, who is this Erica girl? Who is this Erica woman that is this superwoman? You know what I mean? So I know we're going to have to eventually get her on the podcast as well. But I do want to thank you, not for just obviously being at the podcast, but for being such an awesome, phenomenal neighbor. And now a new addition to the family, man. This is like, I guess, technically official, you know, now. Yeah, I want to thank everybody again for obviously tuning in to watching Backyard America, the podcast. Again, you get to see normal people in your own backyard be normal, but actually show you what they're actually doing. I mean, man, if we just kind of go back of some of the things that you do. I mean, you're a painter. You probably can weld too as well. You know what I mean? Just you're like, or if not, figure it out pretty quick.
Weld a little bit.
Exactly. You know, obviously you play a little bit of golf. You know, you can definitely dive in and get into style and get some sneakers. You know, for yourself. A huge family man, so you know you're gonna be able to be a handyman and solve problems. I mean, I know there's somebody out there on the other side of the world that's a doppelganger for you. You know what I mean? That's very similar to you. And I think that's what made me drive close to you, was because you reminded me a lot of some of my dad's friends that he grew up hanging around and being around. And I just didn't think anything different, you know, growing up until I got older and people were like, what? What are you doing? You know, and start questioning it from both sides. It was like, what do you mean? This is who it is. Like, what are you talking about? He's invited to the cookout. Yeah. What are we talking about? So, I thank you again. Yeah. I mean, I look forward to obviously doing the watch party with the whole neighborhood and everything. And you know, it'd be cool to see when we get all the neighbors on. You know, kind of how it differs, how the same story changes. You know. Yeah. But thank you again, Denny, and thank you again for everybody tuning in.